Hey, good morning, everyone. Today is November the 12th. It's a Wednesday today. Overall markets end up gravitating towards the upside, primarily the Dow and the SPY Qs, really lagging behind, kind of a tech rotation out of some of the tech names and into other sectors. We'll kind of talk about what that means for the overall tech names in itself. But Qs gapping up here along with SPY fairly close to our all-time highs level. So we'll talk about the major indices here in a second, and of course we'll go over some tech names. What's up, everyone? Yeah, before we do that, good morning. Good morning. What's up? What's up? Victor, B Roots, Cody, Jeff, Willie, Daniel, Robert. Good morning, KO. Under Miss Reggie, 50, Martin, Deuce. What's up, Juan? What's up, everyone? I am Wayne, Deuce. What's up, B Roots, Enlisted? Yeah, what's up, everyone? Good morning. It's cold here in Florida. Yeah, for sure. Up in Canada, it's ridiculous. It's already snowing outside. But yeah, what's up, everyone? Hope you guys are doing well. Let me grab some water here and then we'll get started. Okay, so yeah, coming into today on the higher time frame. So specifically for the ES, as you can see, we end up reclaiming back above key levels. So yesterday, really overall market kind of consolidated for the first 3 hours of market open. We kind of talked about yesterday, bank holiday, potential consolidation, and we got that consolidation really within the first 3 hours. And then eventually we end up having that nice move towards the upside with really the Dow leading the market back higher. So as you can see here, if we look at the Dow Jones, something we don't normally take a look at, Dow Jones ended up breaking above our key level of support, turned into resistance, had a nice break and retest, immediate retest, and then continuation back towards your all-time highs. And now, as you can see, really the Dow already back at your all-time highs, whereas the NQ, whereas the ES has not hit your all-time highs. So this is usually a good kind of point. This is a good kind of rule of thumb to look at when you're looking at the overall indices is comparing the relative strength compared to something like the ES and Q. And you can also take a look at the YM, which we don't normally do, but it's just something to look at. So for the ES coming into today, reclaim back above key levels. Now let's go on to the lower time frame. So for the ES now, once we're able to get above this key point of interest, which is the level we talked about yesterday, which is your 6850, you can see a lot of consolidation. Once we got above this level, nice continuation towards the upside. So levels that we can have marked out today is primarily just going to be our previous day highs. So we can mark this out and drag it over. So coming into market open today, this is our previous day highs here for the ES. You can see nice break, retest, continuation. Now moving forward here for the ES, if you do want to see continuation higher, we just like to see it maintain above. Now it's just going to be your previous day highs if you want to see any sort of continuation back towards the upside. If you go into the hourly chart or if you go into the daily chart here as well, ES next major targets is going to be back up and towards our all-time highs. What we like to see is it just maintain right higher lows, right? Every single dip be bought up, right? Previous levels of support turn into resistance for that continuation back up and towards our all-time highs. So for the ES coming into today, as I mentioned, keep an eye out on our previous day highs. That is going to be our key level for a retest continuation higher. If you want to see some shorts, in my opinion, shorts aren't really on the table, but potential shorts underneath your previous day highs, in my opinion, as I mentioned now, overall market flipping bullish, ES and Dow leading the way. So I'm much more inclined to looking for pullback longs for continuation higher. All right. This is the SPY chart, as you can see here. Similar thing here for the SPY. Key levels that we have marked out yesterday, 680, a few other levels here now as well, and then back up and towards our all-time high. So for the SPY yesterday, key levels that we marked out, 680. Once we're able to get above your 680, nice continuation later into the session. You can see multiple touches right off the bat, but we broke above. Nice continuation up and towards our previous day highs and above. So for the SPY coming into today, similar thing. What we're just going to have marked out, as I mentioned, is going to be our previous day highs, which in this case, it's our 683.50. So coming into today here for the SPY, if we go into the hourly chart, similar thing, right? Higher lows are being built. As long as you can maintain above these higher lows, we can expect continuation now up and towards our 685 and eventually our all-time highs key level. So for the SPY coming into today, what we want to have marked out here is our 683.50 previous day high level. If price can come back down, retest this level, we can be looking for pullback longs off this general area, 683.50. Another possible scenario now is if price breaks above your pre-market highs and holds for this continuation up and towards, now it's going to be this all-time highs. I personally would like the first scenario, which would be the pullback longs. But if price wants to show a lot of strength, potentially we can be looking for the break and retest above your pre-market highs. But pullback longs, of course, would be the best plus lowest risk possible for that continuation higher. So for the SPY, at least coming to market open along with the ES, keep an eye out on your previous day high potential pullback long for continuation. Overall market, as I mentioned now, the next main objective is going to be back up and towards that all-time highs key level. Okay. So now we just went over the SPY along with the ES. Now let's go into the NQ. So NQ, as you can see here, is essentially lagging behind the SPY. If you're comparing these two charts, you can see the SPY yesterday broke above our key levels. Nice continuation up and towards our up and towards our previous day highs and above. Whereas the QQQ actually never broke outside of its previous day's range. Qs actually dropped right off the bat, came closer to our previous day lows, and then we ended up having this nice bounce later into the day. So with this relative weakness, I would say, compared to the rest of the indices right now, what we're getting is essentially a tech rotation. So a lot of money currently, right, just based off of what's going on with this Qs along with the rest of the indices, a little bit of a tech rotation out of some of these tech names. That's why some of them have been beaten down and they're getting rotated into other sectors. So for the Qs coming into today, if we go onto the hourly chart, let's just first go onto the NQ. The key levels that I have moving forward here for the NQ is going to be this 25,800. So this is really your previous level of support that turned into resistance, essentially the area that we broke down from. If we do want to see some more upside, preferably we need to break back above this level for continuation higher. Currently, right now, you can see we're essentially starting to break structure, holding above key levels, but now we're really going to need to see this break back above our 25,850 if you want to see any sort of continuation back up and towards our all-time highs. If we ultimately reject off this level, which is a possible scenario, we're just going to come right back down in between the middle of the range. If we go into the QQQ, similar thing here, we're actually coming up right in towards a key level here on the hourly chart. Exact same level here for the Qs, which is our 626. Previous level of support turned into resistance. Another touch here in the pre-market as well. If we can break above and hold, potentially we can see a move back up in towards our 630 and potentially our all-time highs. If we reject, we're just going to come right back down in between essentially this general area, 626, along with our 618. So for the Qs coming to market open today, the key levels that I have marked out is going to be number one, what we have here are 621. You can see multiple touches from yesterday. We're going to have this higher time frame point of interest, which is our 626. So if we want to see some longs towards the upside, we can also mark out now our 624. You either want to see number one, break above your 626 for continuation. Another possible scenario is the bounce off your 624 for a continuation higher here as well. Or it would be the pullback longs all the way back down and towards your 621 for that continuation higher. So for the Qs, I would like to see a little bit more strength, right? Personally, potential break above our 626 and hold above that level. If Qs wants to reject off your 626, be cautious of this potential gap fill reversal back down in towards that 622. So for the Qs, as I mentioned, right, this one is lagging behind the overall markets now, a little bit of a tech rotation. So I'd be cautious on tech unless we have a clear higher time frame breakout, which I'll show you guys some of the charts that we're looking for coming into today here. So keep an eye on your 626 here for the Qs coming into today. Okay. Yeah, what's up, everyone? Hope you guys are doing well. If you guys do have any charts or any tickers you'd like me to go over here now, you guys can drop them in the chat. I'll go over a couple other names. I'll go over some of the Mag 7 names first, and then I'll go over some of those names later. What's up, everyone? Good morning. What's up? Sound better? Yeah, feeling a lot better. Throat's still a little bit sore, so I just have to drink a lot of water and can't talk for a very long period of time, but definitely feel a lot better. Good morning. Question: is scalping 5-minute work on gold and USD? I personally don't trade gold, but I know a lot of people that have traded it. You just have to find the right time frame. You also have to go and back test it yourself as well. Okay. Get some local honey. Well, I actually have my own honey. We have some bees. We have like a mini. I wouldn't call it like a honey farm, but we actually make our own honey, which is pretty cool. It actually tastes so good. Okay, let's go into Tesla. Okay, let's go into this one here on the daily chart. This one really lagging behind versus the overall market, but it's just basing. And you know what basing means? Whenever we have a huge base, it just means we're going to have a really big breakout eventually. I don't expect a breakout. Maybe we're waiting for that next news catalyst that's going to push this higher. But ultimately, Tesla is just going to consolidate in this general area, and then we're going to base. Eventually, when we have that breakout, we're going to have a really big push towards the upside. But at least for now, I'd be a little bit more cautious on Tesla just because we're consolidating in this general area. So key levels that we're going to have marked out, really not too many levels. The only level that matters in this case is just your 440. You can see multiple touches around this general area. And then I also had a few other levels, 434. So really coming into Tesla today, just based off the higher time frames, there's nothing going on the hourly chart. So all your trades, if you do take on Tesla, are just going to be primarily scalps, right? Scalps off of your previous day highs, previous day lows, just key levels. So key levels for Tesla, 440. Once again, you can see multiple touch from yesterday. If you can hold 440, potential kind of reversal trade back towards the upside. If we reject, right, potential reversal lower. So for Tesla, not really too much to talk about in this case. Just keep an eye out on your 440. And until we get some more information on this one, I'll be a little bit more patient. As for NVIDIA, so a couple of these semis, there's a decent amount of things to kind of talk about here. For NVIDIA, we had some news yesterday. We had some news here in the morning. So there's a lot of news here. So for NVIDIA, really coming into today and moving forward, key level, just going to be your previous all-time highs pivot point. You can see multiple touches in this general area here as well. Key levels that we have marked out is number one, our previous all-time highs, which I actually refined this level. And we also have marked out your Monday's lows. So coming into really today and moving forward, yesterday, NVIDIA showed a little bit of relative weakness compared to the overall market. Not quite filled that full daily gap that we created over the weekend. Since this was a really big gap, we kind of filled halfway the gap. And they can see we're getting some buyers to step in. As for NVIDIA, moving forward, at least based off of this week's price action, you can see Monday, now we have Tuesday's price action. We're kind of just basing above your previous day highs coming to market open. So for NVIDIA, if you do want to see a potential move higher today, it's going to be above our previous all-time highs along with our previous day highs. What I'd like to see is really maintain above. In this case, it's going to be this 195.50 for this push potentially up and towards our 199. Another possible scenario here as well, dip down in towards our 194 for this push back up and towards, now it's going to be this 199 as well. So for NVIDIA, Let's keep an eye out on our previous day highs here, 195.50. That's going to be the key level if you want to see a push higher. The only way I'm leaning more towards the downside on Nvidia is now really going to be the break underneath. It's going to be your Monday's lows, which is in this case, it is your 194. Right, so this is going to be the key level here. I personally, as I mentioned, not that interested in shorts unless we show a lot of weakness on the overall markets. And we had a lot of relative weakness on something like Nvidia. I'd much rather look for a potential gap fill back towards the upside. All right, so that's what we have on Nvidia. Let's take a look at AMD here. So AMD up 6% in the after hours. We had some news as well that's pushing this back towards the upside. So you can see multiple kind of catalysts yesterday, a lot of wicks, but now we're up about 6% as I mentioned. So for Nvidia coming into today, key levels that we're going to have marked are 252 and our key level support being that 236. You can see we ended up filling the gap towards the downside yesterday here on AMD. Buyers stepped in right off this gap level and tried pushing this essentially back towards the upside. Let's go back onto the lower time frames. So as you can see here, we had that daily gap that we created over the weekend, came back down, filled it, buyers stepping in, and then we had some more news in the after hours pushing this back towards the upside. So for AMD now, key levels, previous day highs, 248, along with our 250 here, which is a higher time frame key point of interest, essentially the area that we broke down from. So for AMD, coming to market open, let's keep an eye on your 248 along with their 252. If we can break above, maintain, potentially we can see some continuation higher. Above now it's going to be this 254. Another possible scenario, if we reject, we can be looking for the previous day high hold for a potential continuation higher here as well. So these are the two scenarios that we have played out on AMD coming into market open. Preferably, I'm actually not opposed to either scenario, either the break above right off the bat and a retest of this level, or if we reject, potential pullback longs off of your previous day highs for that continuation higher here as well. So AMD, one of my favorite looking charts, as you can see, look at where the buyers are stepping in. Exactly off the level I talked about in the pre-market on Monday and on the weekly outlook, exactly off of our previous all-time highs. In my opinion, AMD along with Amazon are some of the nicest looking higher time frame setups, right? Big gap up, right? Higher lows are being created. We can expect this to continue higher. So AMD is going to be one of the main watches, at least moving forward, for eventually that push back up and towards our all-time highs. So we'll keep an eye out on AMD. As for Apple, finally breaking outside this consolidation here and a push up and towards our all-time highs. So as you can see, key level is our 277. But for Apple, try breaking above it. A couple rejections. Apple usually likes to do this, but eventually with the market bouncing off key levels of support, this one started pushing back higher. So key levels moving forward, still going to be our 273 and our 277. What I like to see for Apple, break above, retest, hold for continuation. Another possible scenario is going to be the hold of our 273 for this pushback towards the upside here as well. So those are the levels we have for Apple. As for Amazon, another one, right, bouncing perfectly off our previous all-time highs. Previous level of resistance turning into support. We like to see really Amazon push back up and towards our all-time highs. Let's go into the lower time frames. Nice pop, kind of basing here. Now we're trying to get back above key levels, which in this case is our 250. So if you can see here for Amazon, higher lows are being built. We're breaking above now key level of resistance. Another touch here as well. If you can get that hold above your 250, I like Amazon for a push back up and towards your 255 and above. So let's keep an eye on Amazon today here as well. We're above your Monday's highs. We're above your previous day highs. If we can hold now above, as I mentioned, 250, we can be looking for a potential reversal back up and towards right 255 and above. A lot of these names look fairly similar, basically an earnings reversal play, but just strictly based off of the hourly chart, right? That's going to be our key level. If we can break above, continuation higher. If we reject off this level, then potentially we can see a higher low. As long as it's above now, it's going to be this 248. As for Google, nice push higher here as well. Higher lows are being built. Key level for Google now today, as you can see, we actually hit our all-time highs in the actual market hours. We have a little bit more room up and towards our earnings high, which happened in the pre-market and after hours. But Google, keep an eye on Google coming to market open. Previous day high retest off your 292 for a push up and towards our earnings high, and potentially above, which would be our 300 key psych. So for Google, one of the main watches here as well. Previous day high break and retest 292 for continuation higher. And as for the rest of the names, just kind of mean reversing here with the overall market. Microsoft was able to reclaim back above key levels. Meta still kind of lagging behind. So Meta and Microsoft lagging behind. So I'll be a little bit more cautious on these ones. And then we do have Netflix as well, which is shaping up nicely. So Netflix, if you go into the higher time frames, we're finding a nice bottom here. If we can reclaim back above, potentially you can see this reversal coming into the split that we do have in about 2 weeks. So for Netflix, key levels that we're going to have marked out is going to be this 1129 plus this earnings low, which is our 1150. We like to see break above, hold above for a potential kind of reversal play. Or now we like to see the bounce off our 1129 for this continuation higher here as well. Okay. So yeah, coming to market open, I'll go into a few other tickers here now as well, but a lot of nice setups here with the overall market pushing back towards the upside. Q's key level is going to be this 626, but at least on the tech side, some names don't look as appealing. Some names look look decently appealing, like something like AMD. So we'll keep an eye on AMD 254. We'll also keep an eye out on potentially Apple. I'm not as interested in Apple, but this one still looks decent as well. But I do like Amazon. Google looks good here as well. And then even Nvidia above your previous day high. So a decent amount of names to keep a look at, take a look at coming into market open with the spine cues pushing back up and towards key levels. With the Dow, as I mentioned, hitting your all-time highs, keep a point of interest. And really with the SPY back at key levels as well, we expect now kind of major dips, any sort of dips that we do have in the markets to get bought up for eventually that push back up and towards our all-time highs. Okay. All right. If you guys do have any charts or any tickers, you guys can now drop them in the chat and I will take a look at some of these names. Yeah, what's up, everyone? Hope you guys are doing well. Yeah, if you guys do have any tickers or any charts you'd like me to go over, you guys can drop in the chat. If you guys are enjoying this so far, appreciate if you guys drop a like. Let's see if we can get to 200 likes here. And then, of course, if you guys haven't joined the free watch list, that one is in the description here as well. Okay, so at least for Palantir, first key chart, you can see nice bounce off of our key level of support. We kind of talked about this one. Nice push higher. Now we're actually creating an inside bar day. So for Palantir, key level that we have marked out is just going to be our 194. So we have an inside bar day after having this really big push up on Monday. If you want to see a break above, really it's above this 194. This is essentially the area that we broke down from. See touch here, touch here, touch here. If you want to see Palantir upside, above our 194, continuation back towards the highs. Key levels that have marked out coming to market open is going to be this 190 and this 194. So as I mentioned, break above your 194 continuation, potentially even today, break above your previous day highs for this push higher here as well. So we'll keep an eye on Palantir. if it does want to potentially have some continuation up and towards our previous day highs and above. Couple of these semiconductors kind of lagging behind now. So if we do take a look at SMH, this one, I wouldn't say really lagging behind, kind of similar to the Qs. Pulled back a little bit yesterday compared to the overall markets, which ended up rising. So as I mentioned, a little bit of a tech rotation out of some of these semiconductors and into a few other tickers. But overall, overall for the semis in itself, still fairly bullish here. Higher time frames is going to be this 356. Maintain above your 356 or reclaim, we can see a push back higher. If we reject, we're just going to come right back down in towards our previous day close. So 356 is going to be key here for SMH. This is also your previous day highs here as well. Okay, let me go on to a few other names. Let's see a few people typing in SoFi. So SoFi looks really good on the weekly chart, right? This is really what matters. Previous all-time highs, basing above key levels. SoFi looks like it's just going to have continuation towards the upside. So key levels that we should have marked out. Now you can see we're just kind of ranging. So going from range high to range low. Oops. For SoFi, as you can see, kind of ranging from range high back down to range low, multiple touches. Now what we like to see really is the break above this range for continuation higher. Key levels that we have marked out is really this 30-50. If you go into the hourly chart, you can see we already have multiple touches in this general area. Now for SoFi, really what we like to see break above, which we're currently breaking here in the pre-market, and hold above 30-50 for this potential continuation up and towards. Now it's going to be 32 and above. So that's what we have for SoFi coming into today. As for open, recently had earnings, also came down in towards our key level of support, and really strong buyers kind of stepped in off our 5 key psych level and pushing this back towards the upside. So for open, if you go into the 4-hour chart, this is kind of a nice area, exactly where the buyer stepped in, where they're supposed to, and continuation back towards the upside. Now the key level that we like to see reclaim is going to be this level right here, 844. So we like to see one of two things: break above your 844, hold for continuation higher, or the other possible scenario, which is now going to be the pullback long all the way back down in towards our 7 key psych. I actually wouldn't be opposed to this pullback long. Higher lows still fairly bullish if it pulled back all the way back down in towards 7 for this pushback higher here as well. Let me go over a couple other ones. Do you short a ticker when you buy? No, you buy puts. Let's go into a couple other ones here for Hood. Yeah, really not too much is happening on Hood, slowing down just a little bit, bouncing off key levels of support. But for Hood, potential continuation, higher lows off really this 133. This is the exact level you like to see hold for now. Kind of this V-shape, not V-shape recovery, reversal back towards the upside. You do not want to see Hood break underneath this 132. UNH not really doing too much. Already went over SoFi, TSM, MU, a little bit of a pullback here on a couple of these semis, but now they're just shaping back towards the upside. Okay. Let me go over my game plan today, and then I'm going to get ready for market open. But yeah, game plan today, coming into market open, really is just going to be looking for pullback longs on the overall market. So for the Qs, we can also mark out our Monday's highs as well. So what I'm looking for really today here for the Qs in the overall markets is, number one, either the break above your pre-market high for continuation. I would primarily look for the hold of your Monday's highs. If you can hold your Monday's highs here, then I'd like to see this continuation back up and towards our pre-market highs and above. We're at 624. What I don't want to see coming to market open is the break underneath. If we break underneath, we're just going to come back down in between, back in towards our previous day close. So we like to see this gap uphold 624. That's going to be key here for the Qs coming into today. As for the SPY, you can see it's fairly bullish. So for the SPY key level, 683. That's going to be our previous day highs hold for a continuation higher. Right, previous day high 683 for continuation. So that's the game plan, at least on the major indices coming to market open. What I'd like to see, at least on the tech side, a couple names that I'm looking for. Number one, NVIDIA, potential hold above. Now it's going to be this previous all-time highs pivot point. Also above our previous day highs here as well. So keep an eye on this ticker. Previous day high hold for potential move back towards upside. AMD had some news in the after hours. Key level that we should mark out, 253. If you can break above 253 and hold, potential continuation. Another possible scenario, previous day high retest here as well. So two scenarios here on AMD. AMD is definitely one of my main watches coming to market open, just with kind of the news that we had here in the after hours, plus the higher time frames. And then I do like Amazon and Google. So for Amazon, we like to see break above, really hold on the higher time frames for continuation above this 250. Google, previous day high retest, right? This one's technically at all-time highs, but for this one, as you can see, retest just off your previous key pivot point. So for Google, what we have here, retest 292, potential continuation up and towards our pre-market highs from earnings plus above. So this is the key level that we have marked out. And yeah, those are the main tickers. So keep an eye out on NVIDIA, AMD, Amazon, and Google coming to market open. A bunch of other tickers as well. Just keep an eye on Tesla 440, Apple 273, 273.50s is also a key level here as well. But yeah, that is going to be it for me today. Let's see, hold more last week. Yeah, you can monitor the ES if you post in pre-market to get a feel for what SPX. Yeah, exactly. Since SPX doesn't have your pre-market data, you can just take a look at the ES since it does have more information. Last week lows or current week highs, it's the same level. What should I watch rejection? Which holds more weight? Last week's lows or current week's highs? If it's at the same level, then you can just mark out both those levels. So you can just mark that out as an area instead of an exact level and drag it over. But yeah, that is going to be it for me today. Hope you guys did enjoy that. If you did, appreciate if you guys drop a like. And of course, if you guys haven't joined the free watch list, that one is in the description below. And then I will see you guys all tomorrow morning. All right. Take care, everyone. Peace.